Hey, how you doing today? I am taquilacoleman. In today's video, we're going to talk about expecting a positive response from your spouse. So this video, it is inspired by the session I had yesterday with one of my clients. And my client, she's having great success in her love story. I'm very proud of her. I'm proud of the progress she has made. I'm proud of her growth. I'm just proud of, just all the work she has invested into her own God-ordained love story. And she's seeing the benefits. She's seeing, her prayers come to pass. And that is my hope for everyone. Okay. That is my hope to see you walk into your God-ordained marriage promise, to see your prayers being answered, just God restoring your life all around. And so in our session, it was something that she said that it stuck with me. And I want to talk about it today because in this God ordained marriage journey, we see things, we hear things, we experience things, and all these things that we are seeing, hearing, and experiencing is not all good, right? You might come across some negative things, hurtful things, right? And this process, this God ordained marriage process, it can traumatize you. But God is good because God's healing power, once you tap into it and partner with God, He will heal. He will heal you from whatever you experience and had to go through, while standing for these God ordained marriage. But, when we go through things and see things, hear things, experience things, we can have this fear. God is speaking to you about your spouse is returning. God is telling you, prepare, get ready. It's going to happen soon, right? You hear those prophetic words, right? And you hear these things and you get excited and you want the promise. But then fear kicks in. And the enemy is all up in your mind. Well, what if they respond this way? What if my person rejects me? What if they don't like this? What if, right? And all of that, what if, how the enemy is in your ear, our ear, because I go through this too, you know, that can have you fearful, that can have you self sabotaging, the promise, God telling you to get ready, but you're not. God telling you to do this, but you're procrastinating, right? All because of the fears we have going on inside of our mind. We fear that when the person come back, they're going to come back the same way. We fear that when a person come back, they might not like this or like that. We fear their response. We fear, they might reject me, right? But here's the thing. So in my session yesterday, as I was talking to my client, she had some fears of her own, but she was able to see now that her and her spouse are in communication, she was now able to see and hear out of his mouth, that what she feared never existed, right? The very thing she feared, it never existed. He shared with her something opposite that she didn't know. Right. And it brought healing, and I need y'all to understand, when God released our spouses to us, your husband is gonna, speak healing into you. Your wife is gonna, speak healing into you as well. The two spouses are going to bring healing to one another's life. Okay. And so that's what she's experiencing, healing. She's experiencing the truth because all throughout her stance, the devil was lying to her. The devil was telling her this and that, having her fearful, having her expecting something negative from her spouse that she never received now that he's here. And so I'm here today just to remind you, expect a positive response. Whatever the enemy is telling you, whatever the enemy is tormenting your mind with, maybe the enemy is telling you how your spouse, when you return, is going to respond negatively to you. Well, turn it around into a positive, because we got to begin to understand, I know for a fact it's going to be a positive, because if you've been partnering with God all throughout this process, you've been praying, you've been fasting, you've been spending time in the word, you've been dwelling in your father's presence. God won't release you or your spouse to come back to one another if he know there's going to be more hurt and pain. If he know, you haven't healed from, whatever you need healing from, he's not going to release that. He's going to continue to tell you, work on that. He's going to continue to tell you, let go of the past. You need to heal that. You need to, show more grace. He's going to make sure that you are applying the principle. You have a level of healing going on the inside of you before he release his promise to you. So you don't have to expect a negative response from your spouse. God is already speaking to them about showing grace. God has already healed your spouse, from certain heartache and pain. God has already moved the heart to forgiveness. You don't have to expect a negative response from your spouse. Your spouse is going to receive you with open arms. They have went through some things. They have seen some things. They have gotten revelation from God. They know, they got a different perspective now, and they know how to handle you now. They know how to apply patience. They know how to be gentle. They know how to speak to you now. So don't allow the enemy to, play these mind games, with you and tell you, oh, you're going to get this negative response back, because you just might get a positive response. You just might be met with open arms. You just might, be met with a person being vulnerable and opening up to you and telling you things you never knew. All right, so that is it. I just wanted to share that. I am Tequila Coleman. I'll talk to you real soon. Take care.